Hello and welcome to Season 3, Episode 7 of the Raider Power Podcast. I'm Ryan, and with me as always is my man Moss and our boy Evan. How are we doing today, fellas?
I love when you always say my man Moss is here always, because I am here always, and I am doing fantastic. It's good to have Evan Johnson back. He's been... Never mind. Evan, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good, man. How could you not be doing good? We're coming off of a win, and 1 week from today, we see Beard bring the squad back in action. It's a pretty good time to be a Red Raider right now, fellas.
It really is. And not only that, but once again, I'm pretty sure the meat judging team brought home another national championship.
I mean, with those guys, it's just natty after natty. Just welcome to the show.
I just feel like, it'd be a shame to not shout them out once again, and just want to let Texas Tech's meat judging team know that we support them and the titles they bring back home to Lubbock.
Do you think meat judging comes naturally, or do you train for that? Like, over time, as you see so much meat, does it just come second nature?
No, it's in the blood. These kids are born for it. They're bred for it, and they come up ready to just bring home titles.
Most of these guys do have, family members extended that have been really deep into the meat judging game
just
for generations.
A long lineage of meat judging champions.
I actually need to learn some about meat judging, because several times at the grocery store I just get sucked into the meat deals, the sales on the meat. You bring it home, it's no good. It's raw. It's rotten.
You're judging prices there, not the meat.
I've gotten pretty good at this, and I think I might be able to excel as a meat judger. What you do is you look on the package, and there's usually a sell-by date. So what I imagine that these meat judgers do is they look at that and they say, okay, sell by, and if it's prior to that date, meat is good.
Do you think the meat judgers competition is happening in like grocery stores, and they go to the grocery stores and who can buy the most on sale meat that still is tasty wins? Is that the game?
Chris, that might not be their game, but maybe it should be yours, because it sounds like you're a terrible meat judger.
I'm just a sucker for the deals in the grocery store, man.
Yeah, that's fine. But you know what, Evan? You're right. It's a great week to be a Red Raider fan or member of the teams, especially the meat judging team. So with that, I'm going to crack a cold one.
I'm already one step ahead of you, brother.
Oh, it's a great day. Great day. And you know what? Let's talk about that win, because that win was something else. The first half was kind of depressing a little bit. There was no offense to be found.
It was awful.
But the second half, something clicked. And I'll tell you what, there was a new guy out in the field, Jonathan Garibay, booting it from 50 yards, 46 yards, 28 yards, 25 yards. Who is this guy? Where did he come from? And why wasn't he on the field earlier?
Ryan, since you've been taking notes, who is this guy? Where has he been?
He was a transfer from Riverside City College this year. He's a junior, and the only reason he played was because both Austin McNamara and Trey Wolf were out with COVID. So they're both out with COVID.
Okay, I didn't know that.
So that's why he comes in. He kicked and punted. Not only did he go 4 for 4 kicking, but he averaged 50 yards a punt. And, McNamara's job is safe. He's the best punter in the college.
Wolf is out.
Wolf is gone. He was 1 for 5 before this game.
I think it's safe to say that we have a new kicker. No question about it.
Also, where did
12 Special Teams Player of the Week, Mr. Jonathan Garibay.
And Wells all of a sudden just having confidence in the kicking game.
No idea.
Like, where'd that come from?
It's funny to me. He's like, we had a first-team freshman, first-team Big 12 freshman player last year in Trey Wolf. No confidence in him. But you know what? For some reason, really love this kid that's never kicked in D1 college before. Let's give him some shots here.
Yeah, his first shot, 48 yards.
What is his thought process, man?
I love this kid so much that we're not going to go in for the go-ahead touchdown, and we're going to put it all on the kicking unit to win the game. I had to say it. I had to say something about it.
Yeah, let's talk about the one decision, once again, by Matt Wells that I think blew everyone's mind.
What? I don't understand this at all. I mean, maybe with Sir Roderick, do you think this was a coaching decision? Sir Roderick literally, I could have walked into the end zone. There was no one there. Yeah. And he slid down for the field goal.
On what happened. It looked really bad, obviously. Plenty of time on the clock. In my opinion, Matt Wells has his team huddled up earlier in the series, and I bet his comments are, if we're driving the ball down the field and we're getting close to the end of the game, make sure if we're close that you get out of bounds to give us time for a field goal if there's a chance that the clock runs out. So I bet in Sir Roderick's mind, it's getting very close to clock hitting 0, right? I mean, there's still a good chunk of change there, but not great situational awareness there, not knowing how much time is left. But I guarantee you that he was thinking, okay, I got to make sure that I don't try to make a play, and if there's a chance I don't get in, I better get out to make sure we have a chance to kick a field goal. I guarantee you that's his thought there. But he just,
I mean,
that
was a weird play in and of itself. And again, put everything on the shoulders of Garibay. But how about even the kick before it? 4 minutes left. They're driving down the field. It's 4th and short. And I'm assuming they're going to go for it and try to, they're down 6 or they're down 5. I feel like they're going to keep driving, drive down the field and just get a touchdown. Instead, Wells pulls up and says, no, this kid can kick again, and sends him out there for a 46-yarder, where if he misses that, they're screwed.
Yeah.
But, hey, he hit it, and I was like, fuck, this kid might just have ice in his veins, because you know what? He did it 4 fucking times.
Can we also talk about
that
final drive with Bowman? And it's the play right after Sir Roderick decided to go down instead of running in for the touchdown. Why did they spike the ball the next play with 28 seconds left? And then they had Sir Roderick have to run the ball again.
I mean, that's coaching.
That has to be coaching, right? I
mean, Bowman's not calling a spike on his own.
And you even are listening to the announcers. They're going, and Bowman takes a snap and spikes it. Not exactly sure what's going on there. The announcers are so confused.
It made no sense.
Well, Wells clock management just continues to astound. But in the end, they had the chance to kick the game winner. They kicked the game winner. And I want to talk about starting right in the second half, right? Like Wells had said it was going to be Bowman and Columbia coming out, but we saw a lot of Columbia in the first half. It was not good offense. They put up 6 points. Columbia just proving time and time again he's not a Big 12 quarterback in my mind. Bowman comes in when Columbia bangs up his elbow. And Wells claims Columbia could have come back in, but he's stuck with the hot hand. As soon as Bowman came in that drive, that throw to Kashawn Carter down to the 1 yard line, beautiful. That got the boys going. Right. I feel like everyone
Ryan,
rallied behind that throw.
We're gonna have to back up just a quick second because Bowman did come in the first half.
He threw a pick six.
For the most ridiculous series, it was run, no gain, run 2 yards, pick six.
Yeah, I said a lot of Columbia, not all Columbia. All right.
And he was out.
And I was really worried that was going to be the last snap we saw of Alan Bowman in a Red Raider uniform.
I mean, if Columbia hadn't hurt his elbow.
It was, but kind of a bad coaching play because, run no yards, like,
and then deep out.
You have to throw the ball. And exactly.
I mean, and if you look at it too, like that was just like Yost offense, like the standard Yost offense. But I feel like in the second half, we actually saw some different plays being called. And we shot downfield strikes. It looked good. Different sets, motion, like something we hadn't seen. We always see the 1 running back, 1 tight end, 11-man set. We saw 4 wideouts on the field at the same time. It was incredible.
I just like playing the what-if game a little bit. And I really do think that there is a pretty decent chance that if Columbia doesn't hurt his elbow, that pick six from Bowman could have been the very last play we saw from Alan Bowman in the Scarlet and Black.
I think you're right. And instead, I think he has to be the starter against Oklahoma State.
I agree.
Yeah.
He has to be.
Yeah, I agree as well.
I mean, Columbia's shown like he's just not gonna. He's fine. He's just not gonna get it done. Just
and you know what? I love that.
He's not a Power 5 quarterback.
I love it for Bowman because
Me too.
You feel bad for the guy. He's put up with so much adversity and he's powered through to lose his starting job, not to injury, but due to poor performance after the Iowa State outing. You feel bad for the guy. And then you see him throw a pick six and you're like, oh my gosh, that's it. That's how it's going to end. And then for him to capitalize on the opportunity provided through the unfortunate injury it turned out to be fortunate. You never want to see anyone get hurt, but it gave Bowman a chance to shine, and boy, did he. He didn't have the stats. He didn't have the touchdowns on his stat line, but he won us the game at the end. That drive that he put together won us the game.
And I'll tell you what, seeing Alan Bowman throw big shots to Kashawn Carter, TJ Vasher, and Ezekama, it just got me going a little bit. I was like, there's the long ball. There's our 3 best receivers, these downfield threats. I mean, Vasher had a key catch on the first field goal of the second half, whatever you want to call it, or the drive for one of Taj Brooks' touchdowns. Kashawn Carter to the 1-yard line for a different Taj Brooks touchdown. And then that Ezekama long ball that set up the field goal. Like, that was great stuff. And I don't know, I'm pumped to see that happening. And just to see Vasher back on the field, see those 3 big-time receivers that we know we have get in the mix. I mean, Bowman, 181 yards in the second half, 2 throws that could have been touchdowns, got him down the goal into the red zone. But just well played in the second half.
Talking about...
And you know what? He looked confident. He looked confident.
Yes, confident. And I'm glad that we're seeing these big wide receivers actually be able to catch balls, because when Columbia is throwing to them in the end zone, they would need to be 20 feet tall or the trees from the Lord of the Rings to catch these passes, because they are so high in the air. It is insane.
Maybe Vlad for the basketball team could have napped one.
If 2 Vlads stacked on their shoulders might be able to catch that if they have enough hops. I mean, it's crazy. Yeah, and Columbia's injury isn't season-ending or super severe.
Said he could have came back in.
Yeah, it wasn't that bad. I think he just had a bruised up elbow, but definitely the right decision to play Bowman. I'm glad they had the confidence to put him back in after that minor injury to Columbia. His confidence must have been in the dumpster after his one outing, putting up a pick 6. And, that was the only touchdown in the first half.
Was his confidence down, or was he pissed off? Maybe he was pissed off.
Maybe. What did Evan say about his mental...
Also, Evan, let's go back to your what-if game, right? So, Bowman throws a pick 6 in his first throw. Columbia gets hurt. If Maverick wasn't out with COVID, who comes in when Columbia gets hurt?
That's a great question.
That's a good what-if. Maverick was out with COVID. That's another thing that was going on.
Everyone has COVID on this team.
Leggett was out with COVID. Maverick was out with COVID. McNamara, Wolf, and 4 other guys who are rotational players.
They better have these kids on lockdown this week.
Yeah, it's a good thing that we got a bye week this week.
Absolutely, because Leggett is going to be huge for playing against Oklahoma State.
Well, Lubbock has the 5th most cases per capita of a major city in the United States, so they better be keeping these kids
Make them sleep in the Jones.
Seriously, I'm something. I mean, it's going to be that's a serious problem that Texas Tech is going to have.
You see games getting canceled. You see games canceled left and right every week.
Yeah, they're going to have to.
I want to talk about a defensive player real quick. And Ryan, I'm going to save number 8 for you. Okay, I want you to hit the McPherson session because that did play out of his mind. But let's not. I mean, this is the obvious one, guys. Play of the game, in my opinion. Mr. Colin Schooler.
Oh, my God.
Holy crap. I have not seen a Texas Tech hit like that. I'm going to give you a flashback here. Since Dwayne Slay against Kansas State back in, I don't know when that was, but he laid the hammer of God down on that offensive player, and Schooler did the same thing.
That was absolutely incredible.
That might have been the greatest form tackle I've ever seen. It was picture perfect.
I mean, the awareness that Schooler had to toss the lineman at Brewer to stop him a little bit, and then just pop him. I mean, he basically threw the defender at him to funnel Brewer towards him, and then just laid him out. I mean, he didn't even get an inch. And he did
that all in a split second.
It was insane. I mean, that's. I think that's what won the. I mean, that did win the game for us.
Yeah, if they got a touchdown there, I mean, that's a whole different ball.
There was no way.
This is a great lesson learned too, right? Always give 100%, even when you think the play's over.
Yeah.
Because it looked like Brewer. Two sides of that. Schooler could have thought play's over for 1, or 2. If Brewer would have kept 100% speed, he was in the end zone.
Do you not think that he did?
Just a fraction. Enough for Schooler to come up and make the hit of the decade for Texas.
Dude, absolutely planted.
I would say that it was the hit of the decade. I will go that big.
Yeah. No, I mean, I can't think of a single hit that was as important or just as mean or as just perfect as that.
Yeah.
He wrapped him up and he planted him fucking 6 feet under.
The announcers couldn't keep it together.
My God!
I mean, not only that though, he also had 10 tackles and a sack throughout the game. He played out of his mind.
Yeah, he's
playing on Sundays, boys. He'll be playing on Sundays.
We're seeing Schooler really blossom into what could be a next level player for sure.
But
absolute key transfer. We've seen multiple defensive transfers come in that have made giant impacts. And Ryan, why don't you hit on the next one?
My man McPherson. He once again had an unbelievable game. He obviously had the pick earlier in the game, which it was thrown right to him. It was beautiful, but it was great for us. But that was great. Had a few tackles throughout, but he made also a game-saving play. After we kicked that first field goal to go 23-21, it's 3rd and 5. Guys on a crossing route. He is gone. If McPherson doesn't get his hand on the ball, it's a touchdown. And he just reached all the way out, gets his hand in there, breaks it up, and that also just straight up saved the game.
That was
if
absolutely
he doesn't make that
beautiful
play, we lose.
Absolutely beautiful play.
I feel like week after week he's making big plays. He's like the guy who he's always changing the pace of the game in a way. He's a big momentum player, and I love it.
It's so great to report on a game with bright spots.
Oh my God.
Absolutely.
It's fun.
Yeah.
But, obviously a lot of bright spots. Wells made some weird decisions. First half was more of the same. Second half was beautiful. Now we transition into the last 2 games of the season. We got Oklahoma State and Kansas. What do we need to see out of these last 2 games?
Offensive flow. Now that we're changing up once again from Columbia to Bowman, which we believe is the case. They might change it.
They have to.
I want to see some rhythm on offense because it seems like every game, originally when I thought Columbia might be the guy after that West Virginia win because I thought the offense was flowing pretty well, and then it's basically just been dry the last 2 games that he started, and then Bowman comes in and, we're moving the ball again. We're, putting points up. We're getting the opportunity to put points up. I think running game, needs to flow well. So Roderick, busted out for some big plays, and then Bowman was able to air out the ball. Defense needs to keep playing somewhat solid on the run game because if we can contain the running backs, like we did with Baylor, then we can have decent coverage in the secondary. So Oklahoma State's going to be a tough task, 100%.
Yep.
They are in contention to win the Big 12 this year.
Absolutely.
We're playing at Oklahoma State. Is that right? Evan?
It is at Oklahoma State. Yeah.
We're playing in Stillwater. Stillwater's a really hard place to play, even without fans. So the teams, it's great to have a bye week because, number one, hopefully, the players that did contract coronavirus will be able to play in this game. And 2, we got a game plan. Patterson's got to really put together a really good game plan. And then Yost can script out some screens at 3 a.m. playing Mario Kart or whatever.
I'm playing with Chuck and Dr. Pepper.
Yeah.
I think that from my perspective, there's 2 keys to the game. I guess one each that I really want to hit on. For Oklahoma State, incredible offensive squad. I could say the key's going to be containing Chuba Hubbard, but no one in the country is going to contain him. He's one of the best running backs in the country. So you gotta assume that he's going to have a big game. But that, with such a prolific rushing attack, that opens up the passing attack. And Spencer Sanders, throughout the course of the year for Oklahoma State, has consistently been the weak link.
I agree.
I think that he is what has kept them from moving to a college football playoff contender.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that, Chuba's going to have a big game, but if we can limit Sanders and keep him where he's performed throughout the year and not let him have a big game as well, limit the big explosive offensive plays from a passing side, that gives us the best chance to win. Against Kansas, let's remember that their all-star running back, Puka Williams, opted to sit out for the remainder of the year.
Oh, did he? I did not know that.
And that's by far their best offensive weapon. So when that's eliminated, I'm going to say the key to that game is not coming in with too big of a head and having our offense perform. I think our defense will perform well against Kansas at home, we gotta keep up on the offensive side of the ball. So Oklahoma State, limit Sanders. Kansas, perform offensively. Those are my two.
Yeah. So for me, what I want to see in these last two games, number one is on the defensive side of the ball, keep allowing us to have a chance to win. What I didn't realize until I was kind of digging into it a little bit, Tech's defense is worse this year than last year.
Yeah.
Statistically, they're 101 in yards and 114th in the country in scoring. But they need to do what they did against Baylor and make the plays to keep them in the game. You know, it's not going to be shutting down Oklahoma State because we know that won't happen, like we just talked about with Chuba. But make enough plays to keep them in the game. And then the two other things I want to see out of these last two games is Bowman has to be the starter. He has to play the snaps. I think he has to play every snap because we know Columbia isn't the quarterback next year. We need to find out if Bowman can be the quarterback. We need to find out if he has the confidence, if he can be that player, if he can be our quarterback of the future for the next year or two, because I know he's got a redshirt year. We just need to find out. So they got to play Bowman.
Yeah.
And the last thing
I agree, Ryan.
I want to see, the very last thing, I want to see Matt Wells not do anything stupid. I mean, in all reality, he's made some ridiculous calls. Like we were talking about with this game and the kicking stuff, the second down field goal, the sky kick, the blaming players in the post-game press conferences. I just want to see him not do anything stupid because I'm pretty sure he's coming back next year.
Yeah.
After this Baylor win, he basically locked himself in for about a year.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah, I want to see him prove that he can call sane games and just not be an idiot and, keep the team in position to win. Don't get penalties on himself getting a 3rd and 45. I want to see some sane playing calling. That's what I'd love to see.
Yeah, give me a little faith that Bowman is going to be the QB of the future, and give me a little faith that Matt Wells is going to be the coach of the future for the next 1 year, maybe.
Yeah.
Very well said.
I mean, that's I think all we can ask for these last two games.
Just trying to keep the faith, man. That's it.
Keep the faith, brother.
I think it's bigger than just wins or losses, though, because if he loses to Kansas again for a second straight year, every ounce of confidence in his team from a fan base perspective is out the window.
Oh, yeah.
He's got to win that game. Oklahoma
100%.
State, you're expecting him to lose that game. Hope I'm wrong. Hope we pull off a great upset. But you're expecting him to lose that game, as is everyone.
Yep.
But the Kansas game is a must-win from the perspective of inspiring long-term confidence. If you lose that, you're going into the next year with just a giant red X on your back.
100%.
And that might be the
100%.
last game that Texas Tech plays this season, considering I just don't think bowl games are going to really happen this year.
And they'd have to win both games to even make a bowl game.
Yeah,
no, they're letting all teams participate in a bowl game this year.
I just don't think that bowl games are going to happen this year, though. I mean, maybe, the playoff, yes. But I think that bowl games probably are not going to happen.
Yeah.
They might leave it up to schools. It brings in so much money for a school if you can make a bowl game.
Yeah,
well,
whatever. We'll see.
Listen,
hey, we'll see.
Hopefully I'm wrong.
Two big games coming up, but I cannot contain my excitement anymore. Let's move on. 1 week out from Chris Beard and his squad taking the floor again. It's basketball season, baby. It's basketball season.
Yeah, buddy. Let's go. 4-1.
Whataburger.
Oh, Whataburgers and 4-1 for the boys week after week. We're starting off the season, of course, with a couple of games to just beat up on some people. And I'm excited to watch how good the defense is against bad teams.
Yeah, me too.
I want to see them, like, the first game in the first half, they only let up, like, 12 points.
I'm super ready to see McClung's fundamentals out there on the court.
Oh, that first free throw, baby.
How great was that video?
Unbelievable.
How great was that?
We actually discussed it last video, Evan. You weren't here.
Well.
Also, I want to see defense and then just, like, all the athletes they have, these crazy 4-star, 5-star recruits, and Mac McClung, just dunking on people.
Dude, this season of college basketball is going to be super intense, especially in the Big 12. I didn't.
Big 12 is the most stacked that I have ever seen the Big 12.
I didn't realize how good both West Virginia and Baylor are going to be this year.
Oh, and don't sleep on Texas either.
Yeah.
And Oklahoma State has one of the best recruits in the country.
The number one recruit in the country. And, of
It's
course,
gonna-
Kansas is never written out.
Number 2
Yeah.
recruit.
Yeah, we haven't even talked about Kansas.
Oh, he's the number one, brother. Cade Cunningham, definitely number one recruit.
No, the number one went pro.
Well,
He's
feeling
number
green.
2. It's all right. We discussed it on last week's podcast. So don't worry
I'm
about
not just playing college ball.
Yeah.
Green doesn't count.
Playing in NCAA, he's number one. But I mean, we said we've talked about 3 other Big 12 teams about how good they're going to be, and we didn't say Kansas yet.
Yeah.
The Big 12 is going to be, I mean, it's top heavy. The top 5 teams are definitely the top 5 teams.
Yeah.
I
But
think
it's gonna be
the
fucking
best
intense.
conference in college basketball. I
You're
really
not-
do.
I don't think you're going to be wrong either, man.
I think it's going to be so much fun to watch. I
Yeah.
It's going to
cannot.
be a blast.
I
It's gonna be
think
a blast.
I think there's a couple teams that are going to blossom as well, like West Virginia. I mean, I just didn't realize that Oscar Tshiebwe is there again,
Yeah.
along
He
with
just
Derek
never
Culver
leave.
and Derek Culver, and
Yeah.
then Oklahoma. Dude, how old is Brady Manick? I mean, he's
He's
got to be
old.
25, 26
Yeah.
years old.
No,
He's still there.
He already has like a 12-year-old kid. I think he's 34.
Dude, he's still there. Like, Oklahoma is still going to be a relevant program.
Yeah.
It's going to be insane. And then Baylor, I didn't realize that I think only like, one person left from Baylor this year? Or are they returning all
Yeah.
starters?
They're returning like 90% of their production of last year.
Yeah.
So,
gonna
according
be
to
good.
Ken Palm, they're the number one team in the country. I think they're starting off as number 2
Two.
or 3.
Behind Gonzaga.
Okay. Yeah, I mean Baylor's the real deal. But let's talk Tech. So Tech coming into the season ranked 14th in the latest AP poll, number 6 in the nation according to the latest Ken Palm poll. What do you see as Texas Tech's key to success throughout the season? Big picture.
I'm talking team chemistry
Yeah.
and defense.
Yeah.
Because the offensive firepower is there. Like, we just know it this year with the talent. But if Beard can have the team playing the defense that he's saying they're going to play, and he can, get the boys together like he always does, then this team is going to be an absolute powerhouse. I can't wait.
I
What do you
agree
have,
with
Chris?
Ryan. Team chemistry, I think that's something that Texas Tech basketball, Coach Beard, the program does better than, or as good, I think probably the best. I'm a little biased. Than any other team in the country. I think all of these players, past players, current players, they feel like they're brothers, and I think that continues even after they graduate. I mean, Tariq Owens and Matt Mooney are still coming back to Lubbock and, running camps with kids and everything. Like, they definitely have a busy schedule. Jarrett Culver's still super impactful on the program. And then you can even go to, like, Mahomes, trying to get players to Texas Tech. So team chemistry. I think if they play for one another, take charges, the gritty kind of like, this is my brother on the court, I'll do anything to help him win, help us win 4-1. That's super important. And then 2 is,
4-1.
Offensive rebounds, defensive rebounds, playing big down low. I think Santos Silva and Ntambwe and the Russian dude, Vlad.
You think he's sick of being referred to the Russian dude yet?
Yeah, I just
That's
got.
never going to stop.
If once he plays, I'll probably stop calling him that. But right now, yeah, strength down low is something that we did not have last year. Holyfield just we saw little glimpses of Holyfield being able to compete down low, but that was the thing that was really holding us back. If that all gets sorted out, then geez, we are a force to be reckoned with, both in the Big 12 and nationally. So this is going to be. We are on the brink of something super special in Lubbock.
If I can add one more thing, another thing I really am excited to see is to play like how in 2018 when they had that strong pace, when they're playing the strong defense and causing the turnovers and then just running the floor and getting the easy points. Yeah. Show me the defense turning into offense. Give me the pace of play. Give me points on turnovers. Give me fast breaks, and just put teams away early.
I'm going to add one more thing real quick. Having a strong team leader like we did in that run to the national championship, I feel like we had several strong team leaders, but I think that golly, Norrance.
Odiase.
Norrance was kind of the heart and soul of the team,
No
and
doubt.
I think that every single player followed his lead with intensity and just like how much they cared for one another. This year, we
Who
don't.
is it?
Who? Yeah, that's
Silva.
what I was gonna say.
Santos Silva, no question. He reminds me exactly of Norris Odiase,
Okay.
his play style. But Beard has already said in multiple interviews that he will be the leader of this team.
Who?
Santos Silva.
Really?
Hmm?
First year.
Yep.
All right.
Which think about how what that says of that man's character. If I may jump in real quick before y'all keep going and say my keys to the season as well. Totally agree. Team chemistry was number one on my list. As good as our team chemistry was last year,
I don't think it was that good.
nowhere near where it was the year before.
Yeah.
Right? If we can
Agreed.
get back to the 2018 levels of 2019 season levels of team chemistry, we're going to be pretty much unstoppable. And also think about our talent, not only just on paper. Okay, on paper, this is the most talented squad that Texas Tech has ever had. No question. We're going to be as deep as we were in 2018, 2019. We're going to be able to see those 5-man rotations consistently through every game. I mean, it is going to be a nightmare matchup for most teams. You got to offensively scheme for 10 players that can really, really hurt you. Each player. I mean,
And no one on the court's tired.
No, never.
I mean, dude, it's going to be insane. And it's really more than 10. It's really the whole squad.
4-1.
I agree.
I mean, you're right, Evan. You're 100% right. If they run those deep rotations again, and with the talent they have, it's the same deep rotations with a better roster.
Right. And that should be terrifying to the rest of the country.
Absolutely. And I'll tell you what, Chris, I know we've talked about this before. What are their odds to win the national championship? 15.5 to 1 is what I found.
It's lower now.
Yeah, I mean, I think people know. You see those KenPom ratings. You see 6 preseason, like Evan's talking. AP poll can go shove it. KenPom is much better.
Let's go.
And, seeing that 6 in the country from him, that is a dangerous squad, fellas.
Yeah.
Texas Tech has never started a season even close to that.
No.
Who do y'all
Never
think
inside the top 10.
is going to be the best player on the team in the end?
Depends on what you mean by that. Do you mean the best? Are we talking about who puts up the most stats, or are we talking about like a Kevin McCullough best player?
Who is going to be
right.
the MVP of the game the most times this coming season?
I got 2 for you. I got the best, most electrifying, most points, like Sports Center type guy. It's gonna be Burnett. That's what I want to see.
You think so?
I want to see Namari be a 5-star recruit. But the guy I think is gonna be maybe the most important player to Texas Tech and win like the most, MVPs, as you put it. I want to see that happen from Joel and Tomboy. He had that year off, but beforehand, I was so excited to see him play last year. He is athletic. He is long. He can do it all. I think he could be a real key to this team's success.
You know what's crazy? I have a completely different opinion, and it's nuts that we can actually talk about this probably with like 6 players completely different.
I'm sorry. I meant to say Avery Benson.
No, I don't think the junkyard is
if I may, Chris,
open.
I'm going to jump in and say mine real quick.
Or if you say mine, I'm going to be kind of pissed, but go ahead.
Well, that's okay. I'm jumping in. Terrence Shannon Jr.,
Fuck.
no question in my mind, the guy that's leading this squad.
Ah!
We've seen him poised for a breakout year. He was vital to last year's success. He's the Jarrett Culver of this team.
Yep.
He's going to lead us offensively. And, those comments that Beard would make in multiple occasions saying, well, we got certain guys that just apparently don't want to play defense. That was Shannon. And if he can get
Ramsey.
it was Shannon and Ramsey. But it was definitely Shannon on multiple occasions. And if he can put that piece together and become elite defensively, I think you see Shannon end up as a top 15 draft pick next year.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Well,
does Texas Tech have 2 top 15 draft picks next year?
That's also what I was going to say.
And Amari Burnett?
I was saying...
I want to see him be that 5-star recruit. I want to see him drop 25 a game.
I was saying that, NBA draft is coming up. We got We got Ramsey, looking to be mid first round, maybe second round. We don't know yet. It's going to happen in an hour.
That is tonight.
Next year,
Nice.
are we talking about 1, 2, maybe 3, 4 players
We might be
going
talking
in the draft?
I think you see at least two.
Shannon, Burnett, Mike Peavy, maybe
McClung?
Mike Peavy. We haven't talked
No,
about Peavy.
McClung. I think McClung for sure makes the league.
I'm saying McClung might go pro next year. Shannon might go pro
He
next
was going
year.
to go pro this year. Remember, before he transferred to Tech,
he wasn't looking like he was going to get drafted very high.
But I mean, there's also Santos Silva. I mean, he's an older guy, but he could be one of those second round draft picks because he's just a absolute defensive, down low guy, boards and points. If you're a double guy in a Power 5 conference, you're probably getting drafted.
We could see
And
McCuller maybe.
Don't forget about Kyler Edwards.
Yeah.
The fact that we can talk this much and not bring up Kyler Edwards,
that's what I'm saying.
This is just a great team.
It's insane.
I could see Mac going pro next year.
I could see Texas Tech having the most people drafted next year.
1 to 4, 1 to maybe even 5.
You mean 4 to 1?
Yeah,
Woo.
equaling 5. 4 to 1 players maybe
if
going.
people pan out the way we think they can. I mean, if you talk about just Micah, Terrence Shannon, and Amari Burnett, those are guys that are already super high caliber guys coming out of high school that are already, you think of them as type people that could be draft picks, and they play the way we think they can play, could absolutely be drafted. And then top of Mac McClung, who's electric, a little bit, atypical type player in the sense that he's a tiny point guard who dunks on people, but it's fun. And, he could get drafted. But then you also have to think about the other guys, the Entombways and the Santos Silvas and the Kyler Edwards of the world. I mean, the guys that are older and at the end of their college career, you declare for it no matter what, like Santos Silva and Entombway. We could be looking at, anywhere from 1 to 4 to 5 draft picks.
I'm also excited to see Tyreek Smith get out there.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
I want to see what he's got. Because he looks like quite the athlete.
And for all we know, Vlad could be a top 5 pick.
Who knows?
That's a stretch, maybe, but I love it.
I heard he is much more than a one-dimensional player. He can shoot it, right? He's
tall and wide.
He's a pretty good shooter as well. I mean, I'm excited. Like Tyreek Smith and Vlad and Santos Silva. Honestly, I also want to see Mac McClung to see how Chris Beard develops him into being a team player. Because at Georgetown, he didn't really. He was like, eh.
But I feel like they didn't have this type of a team around him. It was like their offense was like, all right, Mac, here's the ball. Like, can you go score for us, please?
Yeah.
It's a little different now.
Yeah.
Let me ask this question. And Chris, I feel bad. Full disclosure, I feel bad. I stole Terrence Shannon's answer from you. Let me ask you this. I have my answer, but I'm going to ask you first. Who do you think is going to return as the most improved player that we saw from last year's squad?
Most improved. I would, because I'm gonna go with Mac. Just because we did see him blossom at the end of last year, he was arguably our best player at the end of last season.
Wait, who are you talking?
Mac. Kevin McCullough.
Oh, okay.
I think
thought you were talking about Fallon. Sorry.
I think that what we saw at the end of last season is what I'm expecting to see him play at that level at the beginning of the season throughout the entirety of the season. I'm kind of thinking he had so much time off with his injury, and then he was struggling with the injury throughout last year, and then finally got back to, I don't know if it was 100%, but close to it. I was saying Mac might be a draft pick as well. He has the talent, he has the tenacity, he has the grit. I'm expecting him to make a really big impact.
You've always been big on McCullough.
I mean, last year at the end of the season, I think undeniably he was the best player on the team.
Yeah. I agree. I'm going to take a little different angle. While I don't disagree with you, I think McCullough's going to blossom. I think that we're going to see Clarence Nadolny have a much more of an impact this year than we saw last year.
Well, he made zero impact last year, so.
Yeah, I mean, Nadolny, I could see it. I could see McCullough, but I'm leaning Kyler Edwards. I want to see him. Like I feel like he took a lot of steps last year, and he could take more steps this year,
I see him turning into like a Keenan Evans type player.
which would be incredible.
Incredible, absolutely. But I think the jump that Mac is going to make is going to be similar to like that of a Jarrett Culver.
Wow,
I love
that's big.
And I just cut out. I know I just cut out. So let me finish my.
Oh,
thought
you
here.
did.
I think that Clarence Nadolny is going to be vastly improved from last year. Chris Beard worked him into the rotation. We didn't see him have much of an impact. I think that this year, I'm not saying he's going to be a, top 2, 3, 4, 5 stat guy, but I'm saying that based on his production last year to what he's going to contribute this year, I think he's going to make a big jump.
Yeah, I mean, he could be a big, important piece in that second rotation.
There's just so many guys.
I know.
It's a great problem to have.
1 week from today, they play basketball. 1 week from today,
Get ready,
Texas
folks.
Tech is playing basketball. And Texas Tech football just got to win. And the meat judges are the best in the world. I'll tell you what, that's a good way to come back to. It's a good time to be a Red Raider fan. And you know what? I think that might wrap us up for the week. I'm Ryan.
I'm Chris.
I'm Evan.
This has been the Raider Power Podcast. Guns up, fellas.
Guns up!
Guns up, baby!